album has been out for like a moment, still very fresh. And I know you didn't necessarily plan on making this album, but it's this beautiful, vulnerable piece of art. Besides celebrating with fans and doing concerts, what did you actually do for yourself?
That's funny because it's like a week tomorrow. For myself, I've been planning what to do for myself, and I have a hard time doing things for myself. But y- you know, for myself, I got myself a bracelet, and I just got it like earlier today.
Good.
Like, interesting that you'd ask me that question, and it's just a bracelet, just a simple little bracelet, but
No, you deserve it. The thing is, like, I've read about you, I've listened to your interviews, and I've always heard how you're like the most selfless person. So I was like, I'm gonna put you on the spot and ask you to see if you finally did something for you.
so it's awesome because I don't, and I have a hard time when it's not. If it's for somebody else, I feel like that's fun. That makes it fun. But yeah, I have a hard time doing something for me.
Okay, can we talk about me and you?
Well, the thing is, now that it's out in the world for like a week tomorrow, and there's so many songs like Fault Lines, Don't Be Alarmed, like I bawled my freaking face off. We don't know each other. And there's so many other people that listen to your music that they take it in and now take your music as their own. What is that experience as an artist? Because I know that's like part of it all, seeing people connect to your songs, but sometimes when it is like it's your life, and then there's so many across the world that's taking it, and it's just could be a healing experience or just a connection.
I mean, the thing that struck me most is that those were the ones that folks gravitated to, because in the moment I was only writing for myself, and as a way to make my feelings make sense to me, or for it to be a way into a conversation. And I do use music like that to help myself, and a lot of times I don't show that kind of work, and just because it's I didn't honestly, I didn't know that it would resonate, honestly, with folks, like having that kind of struggle. And I think you can kind of feel it in the songs, but I don't know. I'm just happy that I'm not the only one going through it.
My hands are too empty 'cause maybe I was asking for a little too much.
This is a question I know that you've kind of been asked before, but it's just anybody that's ever seen any one of my interviews, I love lyrics. I nerd out all day over lyrics. Like I was talking to
You're my
Natalie. Well, no, it's just like those peepers right there, those are Natalie Hamby's.
I
And
see.
so I was talking about just how you and her like my Leonard Cohen and Joni Mitchell to me because of the lyrics that you guys write. Can you talk about your writing process? Because my understanding like starts with a journal and then take us to what it happens after.
So, like, I have a journal like this. I write every day, like either on this, or if I don't have my journal on me, like if I left it here in my writing room, I'll spend time on my phone, write it down. And like a lot of people, some days I have 3 minutes, and some days, if it's a day of luxury and the to-do list is small, I have 30 minutes or something. But the journal fills up, and you know, sometimes the writing process is looking stuff up and learning more about just learning more. Sometimes you need to do some research on stuff on Google or Wikipedia to make your details right, or who knows, maybe you're reading a literary paper. I don't know. I take a lot of notes also, but at the end of them, I put the parts that I like onto index cards, and then I shred the journals, because I don't want someday somebody to say, "Oh shit, there's Shires' journal. Let's see what kind of person she is." Because while there's a lot of me in there, there's a lot of stuff that isn't me, or is like a character sketch. I also don't want somebody to sell it on eBay for $200. So I go ahead and do the Swedish death cleaning. I shred it, give it to my composter. I get my index cards and I tape them all over in here. Like they're taped over to my recording area right now. But then when I feel a song coming on or feel like I'm practicing, and then suddenly my mind is like, oh, that's a song, then I it's like a synthesis of information, and the song is made.
You say $200 also, that just caught me, like, you mean $200,000 for your journal? Like, it's totally, but everything has its time. Every song everyone should listen to, people gravitate. That one I listened to over and over and over again. Like, it just struck me. And I know you co-wrote that with Natalie Hemby. Do you mind kind of taking me into the process of that one? Like, were you together? Was that an index card thing? Were you out for a walk? Were you out for a drink? Like, how did this even happen? Like,
me and Natalie write really well together, and there's some folks that are like soul connections, and you don't have to talk about anything, and you could sit down and write. Now she knows about these index cards, and I've seen her try to get a couple off and put them into her purse. That's fine. It's fine. I don't care. I'm a sharer. But she came over. It was a cold day, and I had the Wurlitzer out, the piano, and with the plans to write. But we have a plan to write. Like all people, sometimes you both get in the room and you're not gonna write. But with her and I, it always happens. And we sat down, and she started playing, and then as it happens, sometimes we don't have to talk about much. We were somehow in that moment designed to be writing a song right then, where we shared our thoughts and feelings into song, and don't ask each other questions about why does that detail work, or why do you feel this way. We just kind of both know. And a lot of that, I think, is what works with great collaborations. Like, you don't have to say what's unsaid. Everybody knows we're both married people, whatever. And then the outcome is a song that you feel good about and that you both like. So
The cost of flight is landing, and I know I could take it like a man.
You are going to have a phenomenal show. If anybody hasn't seen you, come to Toronto on October 24th, legendary Horseshoe Tavern. But I am hoping you can indulge me in one story about Canada, because I believe you ran out of gas with John Prine here.
yes, that was amazing. I've been there a few times and I love it. I've been there, I did a Massey Hall show before, and but I was on the road with John Prine, and he likes to get a rental like van so he could carry his various condiments. He can't leave the house without a certain kind of cocktail sauce and all this kind of thing. So he likes to have all of his things. And he was a wonderful driver. We did lots of talking, but this one particular car's like light for the gas was not in a place where he was used to seeing it, and we ran out of gas, and it was on national, it wasn't breast, it was like breast cancer awareness day or breast something. And I was talking to him about that, and then the car ran out of gas, and then I made a video because he called the AAA and he was like, "Happy National Breast Day to you. I've run out of gas." And I was like, this is so awkward. And then he sent some bandmates to walk, because he probably ought not to be walking that far in the heat and all that. And they came back with some gas, and we filled up enough to make it to the next exit to get filled. But there's a video I have of that. And he was real into, I'm probably saying this wrong, all the foods from the service stations, like, is it called poutine or something like that?
You nailed it.
All those things. Like, he was always like getting the local fare of the places, and he loved oysters, and we had a lot of oyster fun there, way too much. And I mean, the people there are so nice. They followed the musicians back to make sure that they could find the car to put gas back at the car. I remember that. I was like, that's really kind. I'm glad, that's thoughtful, considerate. Bunch of people out in the highway looking for gas. You'd think that'd be possible these days, but then again, he was the type to accidentally leave his hotel room without the key, and he would go like get some ice or something and be in his skivvies, and then he didn't have a wallet or ID. So I one time saw him at the front desk in his skivvies with the ice, and he was like, "No, I'm John Prine," and it had no way to prove it. And then he was like, "Well, can you call my tour manager?" And like, "Sir, we can't call this guy that you say is in the hotel because," and I walked up at the right time. I was like, "Can you call?" And I showed my ID, and suddenly Mitchell came down to the rescue, and everything was fine. But it happened. It's a funny thing